on this episode of the Dry Cereal Podcast. Neighborhood news, the plans to reopen the economy, and how will we know when it's time to reopen the economy? And also, is a hot dog a sandwich? All that and more coming up on the Dry Cereal Podcast. Alright guys, welcome back to the Dry Cereal Podcast. This is episode number 6. Technically episode number 6. Officially, I think it's episode number 3 or 4. I think 3. Okay, yes, 3. So, Jatim, what up?
Oh, nothing much. Just self-isolating and enjoying myself. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's cool. Do anything fun this week?
Most fun I had this week was, oh my god, I've just had so much time to really explore the creativity in my cooking. Like, I'm not somebody who grew up cooking. I've had to kind of learn on my own. And I feel like I'm at the point where I'm just like really taking off and I've just been experimenting with a lot of different things. So I made some really good dishes this week.
Oh, that sounds good. Like, what did you make, or what was your favorite? What was your favorite dish you made? I guess this week.
My favorite thing I made this week was, this is probably gonna sound gross to some people, but I made like a tuna fish substitute for using chickpeas. So I made basically like chickpea tuna salad. And then what else? I don't know. I did something with cucumbers.
That drink you just made was very good.
Thank you. I made an alcoholic beverage with cucumbers. I used Prosecco and white grape juice. And what did I mix it with? Mint leaves and cucumbers, and I let it sit for hours. So good. And then when I was done with it, I had a bunch of leftover cucumbers, so I blended those up, added sugar, ice, a little bit of ginger, and that's what you drank from soda.
So what do you call that drink, or do you have a name for it yet?
Oh, I don't have a name for it yet, but I believe it's called like cucumber fresca. I got the recipe on.
And can we expect that from you anytime soon?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start like making some of these things. I'm gonna talk about that a little later on in the show. There's a drink called kombucha, which it's Roger's first time ever hearing about it. Which doesn't surprise me. A lot of people I've been showing it to, they're kind of like, I don't want any part of that when they see how it's made. But it's really, really good, and it's really, really good for you.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't really do much this week. Me, I am not much of a cooker. Everyone's told me that I need to start getting in the kitchen more. Now, I'm not completely clueless when it comes to cooking. I just want something that I can just do really quick and just be able to eat.
Right.
So, which is why I eat out a lot, just because it's fast. But with that said, I want to let you guys know that we're filming these episodes, right? So, and as I think a solution to the audio issue that we're having is I'm going to extract the audio from the video of this episode, and then I'm going to upload that video to all the places that you can listen to it. So, however you guys prefer to listen to us, you can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Anchor. I think we're on Spreaker too. Not 100% sure, or you can watch the episode on YouTube. And you can just search Dry Cereal TV. And then you should be able to find us on there. But however you guys prefer to listen to us, if you prefer to watch us, you can see our pretty faces. Or if you just want to listen to the sound of our voice, the choice is yours. But with it being Easter, Jatem,
Uh-huh.
I have a joke for you. Where is the Easter Bunny's favorite place to eat?
I give up.
IHOP.
That was cute.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. I laughed.
Okay, good. Alright, guys, we'll be right back with neighborhood news. Thank you for tuning in to Neighborhood News. I'm Roger Haynes, and here's what's happening in the neighborhood. Vote by mail may be the best way to save the November election. And it may also be the best way to keep people off of the poll. A woman attacks a customer at a supermarket for allegedly not following social distancing rules. And as the saying goes, if you can't join them, beat them. Strip clubs and lobbyists sue for stimulus dollars, and I hear they prefer to be paid in singles. Starving, angry, and cannibalistic. America's rats are getting desperate amid the coronavirus pandemic, which is bringing a whole new meaning to the term rat race. Florida judge tells lawyers to get out of bed and to wear a shirt for Zoom hearings because you should always wear protection to prevent hearing aids. Pro wrestling is deemed essential under Florida governor's lockdown order, which means the governor just put the whole state in a headlock. Now, these stunts are done by professional essential workers. Do not attempt during a quarantine. Thank you for tuning in to Neighborhood News. Now back to the Dry Cereal Podcast. Tim, one thing that I've been wondering, right, is, with all this COVID-19 going on, the coronavirus, and basically this virus crippling like the whole nation and the economy, and all these businesses shutting down or changing the way they're doing business. How will we know when it's time to reopen the economy?
I think that no matter when we decide to open, there's going to be a risk that there could be a spike in COVID-19 cases. Or I'm hearing maybe even another type of illness. So that's obviously like flu related or corona related. So I'm hearing things like, I think the president is saying late April, but we all know that's kind of crazy. I mean,
because he extended the self-quarantine to April 30th.
Yeah, so he thinks it's going to be over April 30th.
Like I've heard, I mean, just in me discussing with some friends that I've heard April, I've heard June, I've heard July is what people think. As far as me, it's almost like I think the issue is just there's no vaccine for this yet.
There's no vaccine and there's no FDA approved treatment.
Which is why we're self-quarantining, or I guess doing social distancing.
Yep. And there was also a delay with testing. That's been a huge thing that kind of set us back.
Like there aren't enough tests to administer?
I still don't think there's enough tests to administer. So some people were ruled out of having COVID-19 some people were diagnosed with COVID-19 just on the basis of the process of elimination. It's like they had tests for different other illnesses, different other or other flu strains, but they didn't have COVID-19 tests. So if they failed all those other tests, then they diagnosed them with it. That's how few tests they had. And as far as I know, we still don't have enough as a nation. I know some states are like going against the federal guidance and just getting tests for themselves. Shout out to California, who pretty much declared themselves a nation state, which is pretty hardcore.
So they just do what they want to do?
They're just doing what they want to do. I don't know, like, how far that extends, but the fact that California, like, our economy is pretty tied up in California. I heard something like a significant percentage of taxpayers in California contribute to the national treasury. Like, California is a really critical, significant state. So for them to pull a move like that is pretty amazing. Yeah. And then there's Texas on the opposite spectrum, but equally as bold. They want to open up soon, I think.
Yeah, like I think I heard that like as soon as next week.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So that's so funny to me. The first time that I read that article, I was talking to somebody and they're like, "Yep, that's Texas." Like they've always been known to do things on their own and to do things their own way. So I'm kind of like not surprised.
I mean, just 'cause I feel like I don't know you can only shut down a state or a country for so long before
Right.
like it's almost like when does this stop?
And at this point, it's like people are very tied up in the economy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think from the perspective of leadership, they rather save the economy and not necessarily individuals at this point. Even though, you almost can't separate the economy from people because people have lost their jobs over this and people are out of work because of this. But at the same time, I think they're more eager to get money going and circulating again than being eager and prepared to like face this thing.
Yeah, and I think this is going to change the way a lot of companies do business going forward. Like maybe not necessarily like maybe restaurants, maybe not restaurants, but companies that had to lay off several people, like thousands of people. It's like those type of companies are figuring out how to work with less people now.
Ah.
During this time.
They're like, oh, we didn't really need them.
Yeah, so there's like, oh, well, we did this without having all these people
Wow.
here. So now.
I hadn't thought about that.
So now these companies are like they're figuring out how to do more work with less people, or do the bare minimum the same amount of work with less people.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know. I think a lot of restaurants are figuring out new ways of doing business too. Because I mean, I'm sure there are some restaurants that are doing really well still.
Yeah.
During this whole thing.
Yeah.
At least I know one in particular, Chick-fil-A.
Mm-hmm.
They're still making a killing.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere I go, I always see a line at Chick-fil-A.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that, like one of my friends has company or has clients that were like bars and lounges situation, whatever, right? So I asked him it's like what are they doing? And he's like he said no, I mean they're not doing anything right now, whatever. I was like, well, why? I mean, I know they make food there, whatever. Like, why don't they just put food on one of these platforms and just sell food,
Right.
whatever. But what do I know, right? So,
Sounds like an option to me.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like I feel like instead of people being crippled by this whole situation, I think people need to be innovative, like figure out new ways to do business, figure out. I don't know, there's like people that are business-minded people, they figure it out, even if they don't have all the answers right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so it's kind of like you want to figure out how to do something like for example, you made your that drink that you gave me, right? Like you figured it out. Like nobody was here to say, okay, Tim, you probably didn't read a book or anything like that.
Well, I read a recipe.
Or recipe, and then you added your own.
Yeah.
You had your own stuff in there, but my point is. You made it happen, right? He didn't sit around and wait. So I just think, like, I'm just tired of people being crippled by this whole situation. Like, people, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you still gotta live your life.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, what were you about to say?
I hear you. I mean, I feel like we still have to have compassion for people that are directly affected by this.
Yeah.
Which I consider to be the outliers, like people who lost their whole family. I saw an article where a woman lost her husband and her son, and they were the last ones in her family. She buried them all on the same day. So, like, the average person won't get sick from this virus. The average person won't die. I mean, you might get sick, but it'll pass. But it's like a public health concern, you know.
But, like, all right, so, I mean, like, I think I was talking about this with a friend of mine, but, like, doing the quarantine is, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't know what I'm looking for, but it's like, so if you get diagnosed, all they're going to tell you to do is just don't come outside for 14 days. Like, to me, like that's not a treatment.
Wait.
I think that's what I'm looking for.
What about ventilators and going to the hospital? What are you talking about? If you get diagnosed, there's a chance you might have to get hooked up to a ventilator. That's kind of how fast it moves. It's like one day you're fine, next day your nose is kind of runny, next day you have a fever, next day you're on a ventilator.
Like, I hear you with that, but at the same time, people that aren't showing, like, people that are still getting tested without any of the symptoms at all, like, just stay inside for 14 days.
If they test positive?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I have a feeling a lot of people have it. A lot of people have it.
Yeah. I mean, even though, like, they're not showing the signs or whatever.
Yeah.
But, and then I feel like the only people that are, to me, being hooked up to ventilators already have pre-existing conditions of something else. And then with the coronavirus just heightened what they already had.
That's one reason it's hitting us so hard, especially as Americans. Yeah, we have a lot of pre-existing health issues, chronic health issues. But there's, like, I remember the whole thing about it only affects older people. That was a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're figuring this out as we go. Like, even the people that I grew to kind of depend on as delivering, news that I could trust, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Like, if you look back at what he was saying in January, it didn't make sense. Like, he was really underestimating the impact and even how the virus transmits and everything. So
He didn't think it was going to be this impactful.
right, like, he made some big boo-boos. And the Surgeon General, did you see any articles about him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm just catching on to this Surgeon General. It's a black guy.
What was he talking about?
Oh wow, so that was like a whole thing this week. He basically had a press conference where he was like, black people, I need you to stop drinking liquor, stop having block parties, stop smoking, work on your diet, tell Big Mama she can't eat. And he literally said, like, Big Mama, tell your abuela, I saw where he was going with that, and honestly, I was more disturbed by the people who didn't have an issue with what he said. I wasn't really mad at him, but I mean, he is the Surgeon General. He should know better. Like, I studied biology, and I did like a lot of medical research, so maybe it's rare to know some of these things, but you can't blame health disparities on culture.
Yeah,
and that's what he was doing. And so it's like, people don't really blame bad things that happen to people of color on their genetics anymore. It used to be like, oh, that's just how they are. It's in their genes.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, it's a cultural problem. When that's not the case. Like, they teach you this in school. Like, it's a systemic problem. It's a public health crisis. it's not because individual people are making bad decisions. So it's really irresponsible for the Surgeon General to get on television and do that. And I was furious. And I was even more disturbed by my friends. Like, I would say 50-60% of my friends were like, well, black people just don't like hearing what, they need to hear. Nobody likes getting advice about their health. And I was just like, no, that's not the point.
Well, they were white that said that?
No, these are black people.
Oh.
Plenty.
Yeah, I hear you. Like I feel like, I mean, like I hear their point. Like, I guess I get their point too. But that's neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, like, nobody can tell anyone else how to feel. So, I mean, I just think that, I know it's just frustrating when like my mom is scared to death of, and she's really worried about me.
Oh wow.
Like being in the gig economy and
Yeah.
and all that. So, and then my cousins hitting me up like, are you still working? Or
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, yeah, well, I can't make money at home.
Someone said to me today, essential employees, they should be called disposable employees or something like essential employees are sacrificial. They should really call them sacrificial. Yeah, there's just so many people who don't have the luxury to not work.
Right.
And I know you're not technically considered an essential employee, but you still have to work. But personally, I think you should be fine. I mean, I think you should try to reassure your mom that this isn't something a healthy person is going to be really in a position to
Right.
get and have it taken
I think
off.
she's just more worried about it passing to me and just wants to make sure that, are you disinfecting everything? You have hand sanitizer, like whatever she just how typical moms are.
Yeah.
But mom, I still love you. But I'm fine. But with that said, guys, we will be back talking more about the gig economy. I'm interrupting the program to tell you something very important. If you are watching this, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, or you can follow us on social media. My Instagram is @RogersNeighborhood, and Jatem's is _JETAIMEC. Now, back to the show. Alright guys, we're back. So one story that was brought to my attention was I had a friend who told me about this. And I have to admit I was pretty appalled since I am a gig worker working in the gig economy. So after doing a little bit of digging, I found the article that my friend was talking about. And I'm talking about Instacart shoppers. Now, if you do not know what Instacart is, it's an app where you can go on, like they partner with a whole bunch of grocery stores, and you can go on this app and buy your groceries, and somebody uses their gas, their car, to bring you the groceries. So, this article in particular is talking about, so I'll just give you the story. So this lady orders. Tim, let's just say you, right? So you order Instacart, right? You buy groceries from Instacart, and then when it comes across the worker's phone, they can see how much they're gonna make on the delivery, right? To bring you the groceries. Now, what some Instacart shoppers are doing is inflating the tip to entice the driver to give their order priority, right? So if you order Instacart and then it comes to my phone, then I see that it's a $50 tip on top of whatever I'm making on the order already. I'm definitely gonna do that, right? So what shoppers are doing is, I guess in a sense it's a bait and switch.
Definitely.
Because it's definitely a bait and switch. So they're enticing you with the high tip, right? But what a flaw in Instacart's app is they let the customer be able to change the tip later on, and they have 72 hours to change the tip.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you can what people were doing was inflating it to give their order priority, and then after it's delivered, then they can just go back into the app and like just put zero.
So do you
put
think they're going
$0
to
per
change
tip.
that? Do you think Instacart is going to make it traditional, where you just add the tip at the end?
As far as I know, when you order, you can put the tip amount on there, this is the amount that I want to tip the person before they even come pick it up. But Instacart needs to change it where you can't go back in later to erase the tip. That's where that's where the problem is, because it's like they're giving them that much authority to change the tip. Like that would be like if
this had to have come up in the boardroom.
Yeah, like you would think.
Yeah.
But like, what kind of sense does this make though? I mean, because like everybody's gonna do that, and then Instacart's not gonna have anyone that wants to work for them or work on the app. Like they're gonna lose a lot of people doing that. I don't know. And plus, like we're out here being all essential for y'all. Well, I'm not on Instacart, but if I wasn't on Instacart, I would be pissed. It's like people are being essential workers, bringing you groceries, stuff that you need.
Putting their lives at risk.
Yeah, risking our lives. We're on the front lines.
Yeah.
Right. So to get groceries for you to be able to live your life as comfortably as possible, and then you want to penalize us for helping you out. You want to penalize us for bringing you the groceries and then not giving us a tip. It's almost like I don't understand what this sense of entitlement is for people that aren't out there like that. It's like you're too scared to come out of your house, whatever, but you still don't want to give.
I've also, though, not to discount what you're saying, I totally believe it, and I think it's really jacked up. And humans, I mean, if anything, this whole situation is giving me less trust in human beings. But I also hear that there's a lot of people who are getting a lot of encouragement, and they're just giving them like a lot of respect for what they're doing, like almost like they're a soldier, like thank you for your service.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that all people are like that. Because I've definitely, when I've been out there, I was like, oh, like thanks for your hard work. And then like I've got extra tips to notice for being out, whatever like that. But like this is more of a Instacart as a company problem, or because they're gonna lose a lot of people that are working hard trying to support their families. And I know like a few weeks ago or a couple months ago maybe that people were going on strike from Instacart. Now I don't know if it had to do with this tip situation where you can change the tip, but I do know that people did go on strike.
Oh, I'm sure it had everything to do with that. People that work for Instacart?
People that work for Instacart, yeah, like the people, like the drivers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like there was a strike for something. I'm not sure what it was, but it could have been for this exact situation. And then the article that I'm referring to, I mean, it was in March. Like at any time, like especially now, like if it's always been like this, Instacart, you need to change this like immediately.
Yeah.
Like if you want to lose a lot of people that work on your app or that work for you, like this isn't the way to get them to work. And then now, since this article is published, now people know that this is a possibility to be able to do this. So now, like I wouldn't be surprised if more people started doing this. Like I even had people on. Like this hasn't happened to me personally, but I know a friend of mine on like even doing even like because he does DoorDash too, right? But customers just lie sometimes about dumb shit. Like
You sound like a teacher right now.
it's like they just lie. Like I mean, customer service is difficult, but I don't like when people just lie. It's like what's the point of that, right? Because it's almost like because they try to tell the app, the company, DoorDash, that we didn't get our food.
So they can get more food.
Right, or so they can get a refund. So it's like they got free food.
I'm sure.
So
I can tell you're taking this pretty hard, right?
yeah, well, no, like it hasn't happened to me personally, but like if it is like or just for example, like I've had people complain about me for stuff, but like for example, even driving Lyft, right? Like I got a complaint that the car smelled like weed, right? And then I get this letter from Lyft.
Shut up.
That's serious, saying that this is against the policy, this and that.
FYI, Roger is the furthest thing from a weed smoker.
Yeah, it's like do you know what such is happening with? I was like, okay, so number one, I don't smoke at all. I don't even smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
Whatever, let alone weed.
Yeah.
Right. Two. If the car smelled like that, why didn't you say anything to me? Like why don't you just say, hey, this car kind of smells funny?
Well, that's kind of hard to do.
No, like I've gotten people that got like you can say it without saying it.
I've stepped into some funky Lyft cars as a passenger before and been totally not in a position to say how bad it's.
No, but if it's that bad. If it's bad enough for you to write a letter or send an email to the company, like you can tell the driver.
Oh, they sent a letter directly to the company?
Yeah, like they sent an email to the company.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure they just didn't give you a rating and let that and the company reach out to you?
No, because they sent an email.
That's so messed up.
Yeah, like this. You had to go in your phone.
This was a white person.
I don't know. It's like because when I asked them, I'm saying, hey, who was it? So I can try to remember the customer. Oh, we're not allowed to get that information out.
Do you think maybe there might have been someone that got in the car before?
Yeah, no. Like if it was.
Does anyone ever get in the car?
Yeah. Smell like.
Do you think that could have been the case?
Yeah, I mean that's probably the case. But they'll naturally assume me. But I mean I don't know. I don't know if she was white or not. But if you have the energy.
Yeah.
To send an email.
I would have just sent you a rating. Those ratings are great. Just give them a heads up.
To send an email to the company.
That's somebody that's trying to get you in trouble.
To tell them about.
That's trying to fuck up your livelihood over something that's legal now.
Right.
It's not even illegal anymore. So, yeah.
Right, but I don't know. It's like.
It's decriminalized.
Yeah, like I just don't like this sense of entitlement that. And the way
we are the entitlement culture.
And the way some of the gig workers get treated, it's almost like customers get in the car and it's like they're doing us a favor.
Yeah, I guess since I'm mostly a customer, I often feel like, especially in Baltimore, the service you get, they act like they're doing you a favor, like they're not getting paid. They don't act like they're doing you a favor. They act like you're burdening them. Like, we're closing. We're closing soon. Like, I usually feel the opposite way, where I'm just like, damn, what happened to customer service? What happened to the customer being right? Can I get a smile? Can I be made to feel welcome? That just doesn't happen.
I hear you. Like, usually in my rides, like if the customer talks to me, like I'll talk, right? But like I'll say, hey, how you doing? But then they're just kind of sitting in the back and not really saying anything.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't try to. Yeah, when I drove for Lyft, I didn't try to engage.
It's like I have no problem sitting here being quiet at all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So,
either.
but and at the the same time, it's not like if we're being disrespected, like we can tell you guys to get out of the car too. Like I never have to do that because usually my customers are cool. And I don't get a lot of.
I'm trying to think, did I ever have something like that?
I don't get a lot of bad reviews or ratings or anything like that. But like, I guess my point is, if you can tell, or if you can send a Lyft an email about the driver, why can't you just tell the driver that you had an issue with something?
Yeah.
It's almost like cause if you went in a restaurant and then your order was wrong, you would tell like the person that gave you the food.
Right.
Right.
They're just being punitive assholes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. People just like to be jerks.
Alright, well, that's enough of my rant. But I hope you guys see my point though.
I hope you got that off your chest.
Yeah, I got that off my chest. Whatever. So
you're righteously upset about
so,
that, and I get it.
I'm good now. But up next we have Tim's Talk. This is the Dry Cereal Podcast.
Alright, here is my wisdom, or what we call my talk for the week. So I've been thinking a lot about how I can get better care of myself. A lot of these things I've been doing for a while now. Like I've been plant-based. I talk about it all the time for probably 10 years or so. That means I don't eat red meat. I don't eat chicken. I do still eat seafood. That's why I say plant-based, because I'm not quite a vegetarian. I'm more so a pescatarian, but I like plant-based. But anyways,
It's been 10 years. I don't know if it's been 10 years.
yeah, I think I've been doing this for 10 years. Something like that. Close to 10 years, if not 10 years. So, and I'm also like just feeling really creative right now since I have all this free time. Like I said, I was doing some cooking this week, and I feel like I'm now at the point where I'm just like copying the recipe. I can kind of like put my own spin on things, and it's just so fun. But there's one thing I want everybody to kind of open up to and consider if you're not already hip to it. It's this drink called kombucha. And I feel like I would not have known what kombucha was if I had not been tapped into certain communities in Baltimore City. But it's definitely something I associate with like white bros. They tend to be really, really enthusiastic about kombucha. And I started drinking it at a vegan coffee shop I used to go to that used to have some really good food. But anyways, kombucha is really expensive, and I always assumed it was really hard to make. But I went online, and it doesn't look like anything that is impossible. But more than anything, it's really cheap to make. But I just want everybody to give this a chance. Pick it up from the store, see if you can tolerate it. A lot of people who are used to drinking and eating like the status quo types of foods have an issue with it. If you're someone who is sensitive to like the way things look when they're prepared, stuff like that, I don't care what it looks like when it's being prepared, as long as it's sanitary and as long as it tastes good when I get it. But I showed a friend how it was prepared the other day, and he's like, nope, don't want to have anything to do with that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to making that. And so kombucha is a probiotic, which means it helps you to enhance like the good bacteria that are in your gut. So when I started grad school like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, there was like this big development about your gut microbiome. Like there was so much interesting research about how much the bacteria in your gut matter for your body. And so what this drink does, and basically what having like a diverse diet does, it balances out that good bacteria, which equals about 3 pounds of your weight. Like there's 3 pounds of your weight just in your stomach from bacteria. Which helps you, so if you have a higher number of good bacteria in bed, it helps you to digest your food, it helps you to absorb nutrients from your food. There's been research that shows connections between the food, your gut flora, which is like your gut bacteria, and mental health problems like depression. It's been linked to obesity. Like what you're eating, it may not necessarily be the calories that's causing you to gain weight. It could be some, weird bacteria that's having a direct impact on your weight. So like, it's so important. And kombucha is like really refreshing. It reminds me of soda. And the coolest thing about it to me is you can infuse it with so many different types of fruits and seasonings and herbs and stuff like that.
What does kombucha taste like by itself?
To me, it tastes like soda. It's like it tastes carbonated because it's fermented. So during that fermentation process, so much gas builds up that it creates like almost like a soda effect when you drink it.
Okay.
Yeah. So be on the lookout. I plan on making some drinks, and I want some people to try it out and tell me what they think.
Oh, I'll definitely try it out.
Yeah.
If it was as good as the drink that the cucumber drink that I just had.
I think it's gonna be better. I'm actually gonna show you some videos of this guy on YouTube who I'm calling my kombucha mentor, of how it's made. And honestly, I want to make some tutorial videos because I don't feel like the community, the black community, is like really hip to some of these things that pertain to just like eating in a healthier way, obviously. But I mean, I think we picked up on the idea that we need to slow down with the processed food and fried foods. But I don't think like you didn't know what kombucha was. I barely knew what kombucha was a few years ago, and I just know there's a lot of people that are benefiting from it. Like it doesn't just taste good; it makes you feel good.
Yeah, I think you should definitely put out some tutorial videos.
Oh yeah.
On how you make stuff.
Yeah.
What it looks like.
It's a really long process.
If you guys want to check that out, that will be on Dry Cereal TV on YouTube.
Does that fit into the show? Really? You're gonna turn? You're gonna
give
it a cooking angle?
No, like I want Dry Cereal TV to be like a network.
Oh, you're thinking big.
Yeah, just like with different shows on it. But so
I'm down.
But I do have a question really quick before we end this part of the show.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of aware of the things that I put in my body and things like that. But I want to know like what can I do to like balance the pH levels of my body.
Well.
Or like to kind of like make it more alkaline than.
See, I'm not an expert on that. For a long time, I wasn't even sure how scientifically valid that whole alkalinity and mucus. Like a lot of people who are into homeopathic medicine talk a lot about mucus-producing foods and alkalinity. And I still have to do my research on that, so I can't really give you advice on that. But the advice that I can give you, I feel like is less complicated than an answer to that question. Basically, just like eat as many diverse types of foods as possible. Like one thing I learned, I love about, like I feel like my diet has been a journey. It's been like more than I would have, it's been more than what I would have ever imagined. And I'm still discovering so many things. Like I didn't know there were so many different types of grains. Like I cook rice with everything. And I found out there's like, multiple different types of grains I could be eating instead of rice just recently. And there's just so many different seasonings. But yeah, just try to make sure your plate is as colorful as possible when you eat, and minimize your meat intake.
Minimize meat intake, really?
Yeah.
How am I getting my protein?
Oh, you get proteins from other things like beans, like chickpeas. I have to do my research. I've heard that whole thing is a myth too, because we actually do get protein from things that aren't animal sources. But since I've been a pseudo-vegetarian, I haven't had any issues with like protein intake or getting sick or anything like that. I get more than enough protein.
Can I propose a new segment?
Yeah.
Just cause like this just came to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just cause I can see the passion.
Yeah.
And you have the passion in your voice about all the stuff that you've been making.
Yeah.
And whatever. So I think you should do a segment specifically on cooking or what you
Yes.
eat, or give the listeners, if there's anyone listening.
Yes.
But I'm sure there will be in the future. But give people like things that they can make from the week,
Yeah.
or like meal prep meals or
Oh, I would love to do that.
something like that.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And honestly, I remember there was a time in my life where cooking seemed like a chore. It was drudgery.
Yeah.
And even when I got in my early 20s, I was like, I need to learn how to cook. And I started investing in it. It was still difficult to me, but now I just feel like I'm having fun. There's actually a recipe I didn't share with you.
Mm-hmm.
Should I share it now?
I mean, if you want, yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about, number one, I get a vegetable box, which I think everybody should sign up for. There's actually a black-owned farm not too far from Baltimore that is on the cusp of getting their subscription boxes set up. I definitely plan on switching over to them to support them, and I will definitely be giving them a shout out on the show when they start. But so sometimes when I get this box, I don't know what they're giving me. I'm like, what is this? So in my last box, I had parsnips. Have you heard of parsnips?
Mm-hmm.
You've never even heard of it, have you?
Yeah, what's parsnip?
Right. So parsnip is something that is like an albino carrot. It looks like a carrot, but it's like really pale. But it's, I think, a little bit softer than carrots, and so you can turn that into a puree or mashed potatoes. So I made parsnips mashed potatoes. Also, I forgot to mention parsnips are sweet. So just imagine like a sweet potato, but not like a sweet potato. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I made parsnip mashed potatoes, and I put I think I put parsley in it, and just like butter and cream, and a regular potato to kind of like make it chunky. Oh, so good. So good. And it's just amazing how many different vegetables there are out there, and how many things you can do, how many different things you can do with vegetables. I've just been exploring a lot of different recipes, and I would have never thought to put my cucumbers in a blender and make a drink out of it. And I got that from a recipe, and I kind of added some things onto it, and it was amazing. So
It was very good. But up next we have the question of the day. I think this is going to be a good one. This is the Dry Cereal Podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Alright guys, we are back with the question of the day. Now, Jatem. The question I have for you and our listeners is a hot dog a sandwich? Or is it a taco?
well, I may not know the answer to that question, but I do know, rest in peace, Mitch Hedberg, that a burrito is a sleeping bag for ground beef.
Yeah, Mitch
I
Hedberg,
can't answer that question.
he was a funny
Mitch
funny
Hedberg is
comedian.
hilarious.
Yeah. If you guys don't know who that is, he was a one-liner comedian, but he was very funny though.
Extremely dry.
Very dry. But me personally, I think a hot dog is a sub.
I can see that.
But a sub is also, I guess, considered a sandwich though too, right?
Subway sandwich. Yes.
I guess so. I guess a sub would be considered a sandwich.
A hot dog is a hot dog. Period.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't think that it has like it's classified as anything. But did you know, Jatem, that there is an organization, right, called, you ready for this? The National Hot Dog and Sausage Council.
Hilarious.
And that is a real organization, people. But, let me see, according to them, let me see what it says. Hold on, according to, where did it go? Oh, I just had it. So, according to them, yes, the classic American meal on the go is wrapped in bread, smeared with condiments, and eaten as a patriotic alternative to, say, a hamburger. But a hot dog is not a sandwich, according to an official press release from the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council.
Oh. So I was right.
So yeah, so I technically don't think it's classified as anything.
Okay.
But
these are gonna be great questions for me to ask my sixth graders. They love stuff like this.
yeah, so but it makes you think though. It's like I would have never thought about this before. Like, oh yeah, because then it's got a hot dog. Like I think a hot dog is in a class by itself. But like what would be an alternative to a hot dog though? You're feeling that drink, aren't you?
It's okay. I'm just like wondering where you're going with this.
No, I'm not
You did your research and
no,
everything.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying like what would be an alternative to like a hot dog though?
Alternative to a hot dog?
Yeah, or like
A corn dog? That's like another ball game. Corn dog.
Corn dog is like-
Pun intended.
yeah, corn dog is like something else too though. You know, there's a steak and then like
But it's an alternative to a hot dog.
yeah.
It's like a cousin. It's like the hot dog.
It's like it's like the hot dog's cousin. Trying to think, what else is in that family though? That was a good one, corn dog.
I know, thank you. Wiener dogs. Wait, no. What were those little hot dogs that were in the can everybody used to eat in college?
Pigs in a blanket?
Pigs in a blanket. No, that's not what I'm thinking of, but
Oh.
pigs in a blanket might be something. I don't think I've ever had or seen pigs in a blanket, if I've heard of it.
Pigs in a blanket is like, I don't know, it's like bread that's like wrapped around bacon and
Okay.
sausage might be in there too, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be in that I guess that could be in that family too. But yeah, you should actually sixth grade these questions though.
Oh, they love stuff like this. Like, we would get into deep debates about this. Like, they would come up with different things I hadn't even thought of before. Yeah.
So that they make you think.
They make you think. They teach you a lot. Like, kids are plugged into totally different information than we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not stupid.
And they're very observant too.
Oh, yeah.
And they take in a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
You said I'm mean too sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I think just so to answer the question, like I don't think it's not a sandwich and it's not a taco. It's in a class by itself. Kind of like the Dry Cereal podcast that you can check out on YouTube on Dry Cereal TV.
If Dry Cereal was a podcast, would it be a hot dog, a corn dog, or what?
That's easy. I think it would be a hot dog.
I think you would be like a wiener schnitzel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not. Well, that's a dog, but not like a. Not
It's
a
not a
dog.
sandwich.
Not like a dog you can eat though.
A wiener schnitzel?
Yeah. Isn't that a dog?
No!
Isn't that like a rough dog?
If that's a dog, then I'm sorry. I thought that was food. I thought it was like a German dish.
Well, that was like it sounds like a dog.
Wiener schnitzel. This better not be a dog. It's absolutely food. It's from Switzerland. Pan-fried veal cutlet.
That looks like a taco. Or a pancake.
Yeah, it's viola.
Uh,
Nowhere near being a hot dog, sorry. Yeah, we would be corn dogs.
corn dogs?
We should probably end this conversation.
I think it would be
It's getting hornier and
Yeah, I
hornier.
think it would be a hot dog. But anyway, so we'll be back with the positive thought.
Do I always have to do the positive thought?
No, I mean we can switch it up.
Oh, okay. You want to do it today?
Yeah, I'll do it. Alright guys, as we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you guys with a positive thought. Or kind of end this episode on a high note. So I want to say that if you want to achieve greatness, stop asking for permission. Because opportunities don't just happen, you create them. Or which kind of makes me think about like there's this quote by I can't remember who it's by, but basically it's well like when people say someone is lucky, like I mean I don't necessarily believe in luck. Because luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Right, so it's like I think people create their own luck. And it's why it seems like some people just get lucky all the time. Because I think people create their own luck. But I say that to say that guys like with the I know I mean maybe this is redundant, maybe it's kind of repetitive, but I know like I still feel like I need to say this because I keep saying the same things over and over again. It's just like it. Like it frustrates me to see the whole U.S., the whole economy, the whole world be crippled by this virus, right? It's like because at the end of the day, people still need to get out and live their life, like do what they need to do, and sorry, you can jump in a second, but I want to say that. Now is now is the time to me to start that business that you always wanted to start, or just do whatever, now is the time to do whatever you want to do because I don't know if you guys noticed, but things are discounted now.
Big time.
Really discounted. So it's probably easier to get loans. Government's just handing out money.
I heard there's some stipulations to that.
I mean there are, but
the interest rates are higher or something like that.
But if you're being smart with the loans and the interest rate, to me doesn't matter. If you're being smart with it, right? If you're using the money to make other money, right? But I don't know. So that's all I got. I just want to encourage you guys just to get out there and just, I guess if you could take away a theme of this episode is just make it happen. Just do what you need to do and get out there. Because sometimes people just need a kick in the ass, to get started. Like sometimes all you just need to do is start. Even if you don't have all the answers right now, just start.
Yep. Take that first step.
You have anything you want to add?
I did have something I wanted to add. Oh, I was gonna say when you were talking about how unfortunate it is that we're being crippled by this pandemic. One thing I've been hearing in the news and on podcast interviews is how much we've forgotten how natural some of these events are, or this particular event is in a way. It's just been so long since it's happened, we're surprised by it. So, the threat of a pandemic has always kind of been hovering over our heads. We just kind of took for granted, we're being arrogant, the likelihood of it happening. So that kind of eases my frustration to know that this is something that has happened before. When I started seeing pictures of the flu pandemic that happened close to 100 years ago, I felt at ease. I felt a little bit more in control. I was like, oh, this isn't something new that we're completely unprepared for. And that kind of gave me a signal that we at least have some type of experience with things like this. Since then, I've been hearing about different types of flus that have come up. I didn't know about the Hong Kong flu. That was a thing, I think in the 60s. Of course, it wasn't as widespread as this is. But, it gives me some peace of mind to know that we've survived something that is this impactful. So there's that. And I completely agree with you about maximizing this time you have to just get started doing something that you want to do instead of just talking or waiting for someone to tell you to do it. But also I think it's really important to recognize that people are being affected by this differently. Even if you don't know anyone that's been impacted by COVID-19 in terms of getting sick, like this is a trauma for us because as a culture, because it's so new. It's so unique, and it's changed everything about our everyday lives. So like, don't push yourself too much. I've been seeing some really great memes about, listen, your only job right now is to survive. So if you need to watch Real Housewives all day in bed, do that. So yeah, take it easy, and continue to work, but work at your own pace, and do not be as hard. Don't be hard on yourself, and don't measure yourself by the same standards and hold yourself to the same expectations that you had before all of this started.
Alright guys, until the next episode, in the meantime, if you want to follow us during the week, you can follow us on social media at Dry Cereal Media, or you can follow me at Rogers Neighborhood on Instagram.
And me at _JETAINEC.
This is the Dry Cereal Podcast.